All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. This right here is just crazy to me. I'm so sick of seeing stuff like this. Now, before we get into, JD Vance absolutely going off about the Epstein list because a reporter pretty much trying to say that, President Trump and, JD Vance is scared to release the Epstein list because they trying to hide something. And JD Vance just absolutely goes off. JD Vance don't really cuss like that unless you just piss him off. The same way with President Trump. President Trump don't really cuss, but if you piss him off, he will go there with you. Now, before we get into JD Vance going off about the Epstein list, there was these, I think there was a couple or something like that was in Cincinnati. So these, I think it was like a mob of individuals that, beat 3 white people half to death. Like, this right here is crazy. I'm not going to show the footage on here because I'm going to get flagged and I wouldn't show it anyway. But this is just sad to see stuff like this happen. So they jumped on two white guys, and a middle-aged woman. I mean, just beat them half to death in the middle of the street. Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi, she's going to speak on this, and I think they got some of the individuals. I don't know if they got everybody, but they do have a few of the individuals. We definitely going to dive straight into this because, like I said, President Trump and JD Vance stepped in immediately, and especially JD Vance and stuff like that. But we definitely going to dive straight into it. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support, and shout out to the ones who always stay to the very end. I really, really appreciate it, and the ones that let me know in the comment section that you did watch the entire video. I appreciate all of you that do that because it definitely helps get the video out there, and the ones that come straight in and hit that like button. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, please stop what you're doing, please, and hit that like button. It's very, very important. It's free. It don't take long. Just please hit the like button for me. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. So, as y'all can see right here on the screen, it say breaking by Eric Daugherty. Attorney General Pam Bondi has now ordered the FBI to get involved in the incident where a gang of people was beating up individuals at the Cincinnati Jazz Festival, DOJ official tells. The FBI has already conducted interviews with suspects and investigating. Yes, lay down the hammer. It's unreal how much federal involvement was required here. The authorities only named suspects after Dillon called them out. Now, this, like I said, this is the video right here. I'm not going to show that. I'm not going to play that. This is crazy. These people need to be thrown in freaking prison. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, he kind of spoke out on this, and JD Vance absolutely called for all of these people to go to prison. You jumped on 2 white men and a white middle-aged woman. I think it was a group of black guys that did this. They need to be thrown in freaking prison for this. This is insane what they did. Let's get on over here to this next right here, what Vivek said. So right here, as y'all can see right here on the screen, by Vivek, he said, I spoke to Holly. So that right there, I think, is the woman that the guys jumped on. Because like I said, they jumped on this woman as well. And Vivek said he spoke to her, and her name is Holly. He said, I spoke to Holly earlier today. The woman tragically assaulted in Cincinnati this weekend. She's a single working mom who went to a friend's birthday party. It's unconscionable that there were no police present in that area of Cincinnati on a Friday night or even an ambulance to take her to the hospital. Hardworking Americans shouldn't have to worry for their safety when they have a good time in our cities. Holly said not a single local or state official had yet reached out as of earlier this afternoon other than one police detective. Leftists like to lecture about systemic injustice while thugs turn cities into war zones. I'm done with these excuses. As governor, I'll make sure they're behind bars. Salute to Vivek Ramaswamy for that. And that, like I said, that's the same thing JD Vance said. Like I said, if y'all go on Twitter, if y'all want to go look at the video, y'all can. I'm not going to play it on here. It's brutal. I'm not going to play it. And like I said, for what they did to these individuals, I don't give a shit what nobody say. They need to be thrown in prison. They need to be thrown in prison for this. This is, I mean, my God. So he said, I'll make sure they're behind bars, not running wild. Our cops will have the green light to restore order. No apologies. Holly appreciates the kind words and prayers from patriots across the country and hopes that The publicity around her story ensures that local and state leaders clean up our fallen cities. We hope to visit Holly soon as she recovers. So, like I said, if I would have gone down, you would see her. She just laying out, man. This is crazy. But thank God she's okay. Thank God she's okay. But they should never did this. They need to be thrown in prison, and I can't wait for that to happen. So here's right here where JD Vance just absolutely just went off on these individuals who did this, just out of nothing. They didn't even have a reason to do this. They just did it to be doing it. No police officer showed up. No ambulances showed up. This is crazy. Normally when there's a lot of people, if it's a festival, if it's something going on, it's normally always police is somewhere in sight, somewhere, especially when there's a lot of people out. So check this out about Charlie Kirk. He said, breaking, Vice President J.D. Vance just went off on the violent mob that attacked 2 men and a middle-aged woman at the Cincinnati Jazz Festival. So let's get on down right here because, like I said, he's 100% right. Thank God for the moral clarity of J.D. Vance. Let's go.
There was a group of people who attacked a couple folks on the street in Cincinnati. Senator Bernie Moreno, some others have spoken out about it, have been critical of it.
Okay, yes. So what I saw, and I haven't seen the full context, but what I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And they will be. They will be so long as law enforcement in the state of Ohio takes their job seriously. I know Dave Yost cares a lot about these things. But yeah, I actually, you're right. Bernie did send me a clip of this, and we talked a little bit about it. I don't know the full context. I don't know how the fight started. But the one part that I saw that was really gruesome is you had a grown man who sucker punched a middle-aged woman. And where I come from, at least, when you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time. And frankly, he's lucky there weren't some better people around because they would have handled it themselves. But if they're not going to handle it, the cops in Cincinnati, the law enforcement, you've got to prosecute people. We've had way too much lawlessness on the streets of great American cities. How many of you all have wanted to go to downtown Akron or downtown Canton or downtown Columbus for a meal, but you're worried because the local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild? We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children. If you want to take your wife or your children out for a meal, you shouldn't be worried about street violence. And the only...
So salute to J.D. Vance. And that's what J.D. Vance said. Like I said, he absolutely just goes off about this situation. Like I said, and that's with these guys punching a woman, knocking her out and stuff like that. I mean, they need to be in jail for a long time. This is the only way you're going to get stuff like this to stop. Because as long as people keep getting away with this and police ain't taking action, they'll continue to do stuff like this. So hopefully they get locked up for a very, very long time for this. That's what I'm saying. It pissed me off just me watching it. It pissed me off. That's why I said I wasn't finna get on here and show that. For one, I said I didn't want to get my channel flagged, and I wouldn't show it anyway. Even if my channel wouldn't get flagged, I wouldn't even show it. That is just disgusting what they did. And just insane. So not only that right there, J.D. Vance comes right back after he just, talked about these thugs that did this to 2 men and a middle-aged woman. So this reporter pretty much trying to say that the Republicans is trying to protect pedos. They're pretty much trying to protect them. And J.D. Vance absolutely goes off again. That's what I like about J.D. Vance. That's why I said, J.D. Vance, when he don't really cuss unless he pissed off. If you asking a dumb question, of course, you're going to get these people from CNN. They're going to come ask these dumb questions. Oh, y'all up here trying to protect these people from Jeffrey Epstein. The only reason why a lot of these Democrats want that Epstein list because they think it got something to do with President Trump. So if they were thinking about it, they wasn't worried about it when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in office. Why they never said anything about an Epstein list while Kamala Harris and Joe Biden was in office. All of a sudden they think it got something to do with Donald Trump, and they think he's in there. Oh, release the list. Now they want the list. So let's dive straight into this right here by Colin Rook. He just said, just then, Vice President J.D. Vance unleashes on the media after an AP reporter asked him if the GOP is defending you know what. So let's go ahead and get straight into this video where JD Vance doesn't hold back at all again. Check this out.
Hi, Mr. Vice President. Julie Carr-Smythe from the Associated Press. I guess I'm going to be that person. There are some protesters outside accusing the GOP of protecting, and we're wondering what you think are the reasons the U.S. government should shield the client list of Epstein from the public, and what you have to say about any relevance to that here today.
Well, let me say just a couple of things. First of all, the president has been very clear. We're not shielding anything. The president has directed the attorney general to release all credible information and, frankly, to go and find additional credible information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. He's been incredibly transparent about that stuff, but some of that stuff takes time. You've got to assemble that stuff. You've got to compile that stuff. You've got to redact some victims' names so that you protect the victims. But the president has been very clear. He wants full transparency. He's asked that from the attorney general. And I know, because I talk to her all the time, the attorney general is hard at work on that issue right now. But I think I got to make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years, under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case.
Exactly. Listen to what JD Vance said. The media, CNN, you never heard CNN, ABC, none of them ever talk about an Epstein list. Joe Biden and Kamala was in office for 4 years. Not one of them, the media, nobody said anything about the Epstein list. Even when President Trump first time out, putting it out there, they still didn't say nothing about it. But soon as what Elon Musk said, oh, Donald Trump is in the Epstein list. Oh, now all of a sudden the Democrats, release the Epstein list. They only think it got something to do with President Trump is the reason why they want it released. Like, these people are crazy. Listen to what JD Vance said right here again, y'all.
Make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years, under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now, but for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency. And somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency. Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, he's got nothing to hide. His administration has got nothing to hide, and that's why he's been an advocate for full transparency in this case. He's going to keep on being an advocate for full transparency, but while we're focused on that case, Donald J. Trump is also worried about making sure these great workers get more take-home pay and better jobs, and that's the focus of the administration. Thank you.
Man, salute to JD Vance. That right there is what I like about him. And he said it perfectly. Y'all didn't care about it when Obama was in office. He was in there twice. They never said anything about the Epstein list. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was in there. Nobody said nothing about the Epstein list. Now, all of a sudden, Donald Trump's scared to release the Epstein list. If it had something to do with President Trump, if he did something so bad, why didn't Joe Biden and Kamala Harris release it? Why didn't Obama them release it? You know what they did? They ran with that Russia hoax crap. That's what they ran with. Like, these people are stupid. And like I said, check out what Gunther said right here. He said, JD Vance has broken his silence on Epstein, and he rocked an AP reporter's world in doing so. Vance doesn't put up with any BS. That's what I like about JD Vance. Now, last but not least, let's get into this one right here. You know, President Trump pretty much exposed who's pretty much who's on that list. And he's ready to release it all. So check this out by Alex Jones. Said Epstein bombshell. Trump said he has a list and is going to release it. Pretty much saying y'all need to focus on Clinton and some of these other people instead of y'all worried about me. But like I said, the economy is in great shape right now thanks to President Trump. And he's right when he say that. And like I've been saying it for the longest, I believe in President Trump. And he's been doing a good job. Whatever people say, of course, the Democrats going to say bad things about him. They know he's doing a good job. Joe Biden could never do a good job like President Trump is doing. So check out President Trump pretty much saying, hey, y'all need to be asking about Bill Clinton. Why y'all keep talking to me about it? Ask Bill Clinton why he, went to the island over with 28 times. Check this out by President Trump.
See a big difference.
Mr. President, there's so many Senator Clinton with Ghislaine Maxwell. Is that on the table?
Todd Blanche is a great gentleman. He's a great man who's a great lawyer. He's got a great heart. But he's over there now. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I certainly can't talk about pardons.
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, he's a professional lawyer. I think he's been through things like this before. But you should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard, the former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein. I sure as hell didn't. Thank you very much.
There you go. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Like Bill Clinton, all of these other people stayed with Epstein, but yet Democrats, why Democrats ain't calling Bill Clinton on? So CNN, ABC, MSDNC, all these people want to talk about President Trump every single day. Every single day they want to talk about him. Why they ain't interviewing Bill Clinton and saying, hey, Bill, why did you do this? Bill Clinton was in a dress on a picture on his wall. He flew to the island over with about 28 times. Why isn't CNN and all of these woke networks is interviewing Bill Clinton? Why every time they interview Hillary Clinton, why they don't ask her about Bill Clinton being on the Epstein list, going there 28 times? Why they don't ask Hillary Clinton anything about Bill Clinton? Only thing Hillary Clinton want to do is get on there and talk about President Trump. Yet his approval rating is through the roof, but yet you let Hillary Clinton tell you Donald Trump is doing terrible. The world is still in a bad place. No, it's not. The approval rating tells everything. So I just don't get it. But like I said, thank you all for watching. Get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this. And thank you to all that stayed to the end. I really, really appreciate it. I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out. And I catch y'all in the next one.